What do you get when you mix a health coach and a wellness coach, mixed with a lot of curiosity? You get two people who ask a lot of questions about health and wellness. Today we ask, then what?
We complete life phases like graduation, retirement, but especially losing weight. But do we have a plan for what comes next? Today, we investigate then what? So let's get started as we ask.
Wait, what?
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Kamna.
How
So
is everything going?
good. Before we get into anything, I have to tell you, first of all, I want to thank every single call to action member who has been talking about organizing their life. And there has to be at least 10 that I can think of. Can't, right?
Right. Oh,
That are
yeah.
like, I'm organizing my kitchen or my bathroom or this or that. Because I dropped off right before this 10 boxes at Goodwill. I'm going to post a picture. Um, Cleaning like you wouldn't believe. But you know what's really funny is we're doing her room and we're cleaning it out. And I can tell she's only half listening when I'm like, okay, do this. Because all of a sudden she'll say, wait, what? And I'm like, what? I feel like I'm like, and then she's like, oh no, tell me what? What did you say? And I mean, it's had to have happened like 4 times today.
Really?
She'll turn around and I'll be like, okay, Alyssa, can you go hang up those clothes and over there? And she'll be like, wait, what? So first of all, she's only half listening. I know that because of that, but it's so fun. Every time she says it, I like scream. I'm like,
I know.
anyway. So
10 boxes is a lot of
I know,
stuff.
and I'm all itchy from all the dust, and because we moved beds and we've done a lot. So I'm excited about.
Wow. 10 boxes is like a whole closet emptied.
Oh gosh, easily. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of
And
stuff.
then I found all of her glass because she's worn glasses since kindergarten. All of her little glasses from like kindergarten.
Oh my
I want to keep them, but
gosh.
she's like, Mom, we don't need them. And she's right. I don't need them.
You can keep the kindergarten ones. The rest of them can
So
go.
cute.
They're
They're,
probably so tiny.
they are. But I
Oh,
know that there's a great cause that takes them and then donates them. So
oh, oh, okay. That's
yeah,
nice.
they like read the prescription and then help people that need them with that same
Oh,
prescription.
I love that.
I know. So I'm like, all right, maybe I will keep one. Oh, I'm throwing stuff.
What a good thing for us to know with our old glasses. I have so many. I just keep them.
Oh no, I think
For,
my school has a box. It's like the Boy Scouts does it or something like that.
oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah, let me know if you have any.
Yeah, for sure. How was your call to action this week?
Oh yeah. Oh, my call to action was simple, easy. I had to get Himalayan pink sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. Got
Mhm.
it. Only had it once, and I don't I think it's saltier, stronger.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it has a better flavor, in my opinion, than table salt. But I haven't really
Oh,
needed it much on anything. So, I mean, my plan is to just only use the table salt for like if I'm salting water for boiling pasta. That's in my
okay.
head, my thought, but I don't know how that'll happen. So, but it went good.
That's
How about you?
great.
What was
Well,
yours?
mine was to eat a lot more smaller meals
Oh
throughout
yeah.
the day. Um, when a lot of stuff has been happening, but when I was doing it, probably 70% of the time, it just felt better. So I would eat something like yesterday, I had a salad and then we had ordered pizza. So I took a small slice of pizza because I wasn't really like hungry after that.
Okay.
And I ate the pizza and I was just like, I'm just gonna wait. And I waited and I didn't want it again.
Oh,
But there
so
was
do
a
you think it's
mental
helpful to
piece.
you?
It's very helpful.
Okay.
The mental piece of this for me is that it's going to be waiting for me if I'm still hungry, which I think is very important. Like I don't have to feel rushed to eat something or finish it or complete it or whatever. If I want it, it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
I can really pay attention to my hunger cues.
That is really yeah. That's amazing.
And we know that it takes so long for our brains to realize that we're full. So I need to give my brain that time to catch up.
Do you think that you pay more attention to your hunger cues when you eat little bits of like little smaller meals?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. And the little bit I'm eating, I'm savoring it because I'm like, well, this is what I'm eating right now, so I really need to enjoy it. So it's the whole thing is a win-win.
Okay, so how many meals would you say you're eating or small?
Probably 4 to 5.
Okay,
I'm not eating like all the way through the night, but like up until dinner, and then I'm kind of done.
okay.
I
So you
like
can do
it.
it again?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I think it's been really beneficial, and the more I do it, the easier it will be.
Okay,
Because then the old mentality is still there, like, oh, I need to do more. This is not enough, or I need to
right.
finish it, or I can't leave this little bit. I mean, so the mentality is still there. I need to work on that.
Okay. Well, that is something that everybody will agree with is not easy.
Right.
The mental part is what's hard about everything in life.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I think it would be fine if you, I mean, I'm not saying it's as easy, but everybody could be like, okay, I'm going to eat 5 small meals, but it's
Hmm.
that mental part that is the hard part.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I'm going to keep working on it because I think the more I do it, the better I will be at it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it.
All right.
So
Oh,
I am, oh,
yeah, I
sorry,
have
go
to
ahead.
tell you what I love, don't I?
Well, that's what I was going to ask
Oh,
you.
okay. So before I gave up my dairy and my chicken for my, I don't know if you want to call it a cleanse or whatever. I did research and I had to find chocolate that I could eat
Hmm.
because I know that at night I need something sweet. I need it. I love it. I enjoy it. It's just what it is. So I wanted to find a vegan, I guess, or dairy-free chocolate.
Sure.
And I'm not a dark chocolate fan. I don't like it. And I think what I realized is because the typical dark chocolate that I've ever eaten is crap quality.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to give you any brands and throw any brands under the bus, but your most popular ones that are cheap that you get in your kid's Halloween bucket are crap quality dark chocolate. This
Right.
is what I realized. So what I found was, and maybe you've had this brand before. Have you
I was so curious about this. I'm glad you're talking about it.
did you
Go
have
ahead.
have you had this brand?
How do you say the name?
I Get Back to Human.
Human. Oh, okay. The H, it's a
It's an H and a
HU.
U. Get Back to Human. Simple dark chocolate. It's vegan. It's paleo. So I bought a regular dark chocolate and I bought a cashew butter one.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but with cashews instead.
Uh-huh.
I love them. This is my
Really?
third batch that I've bought because I usually buy these two. I was gonna try the hazelnut one today. I don't know why I didn't actually, but there's no erythrols, no sugar alcohols, no cane sugar, no refined sugar, no soy, gluten, palm oil, glycans, emulsifiers. It's like just plain good quality ingredients. They're also made by a brother and a sister, which I love. I think that's adorable. Um, they're good size.
Mm-hmm.
They're not cheap, but I'm not sharing, and I don't want to eat the whole bar.
Right.
I
I
want to say
think
it's
that's the
like
key.
350 right now. If you get them and you scan your Target app, because I got them at Target, you get 10% off this brand right now.
Okay.
So, um, I don't know. I absolutely love it.
I think the key is that if you eat a really good product, you're not going to want to keep eating it. You just
Yeah,
get satisfied with a little bit. So that money actually pays off in the long run.
yeah. Those 2 bars lasted me all week.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's good. And I mean, I feel like I'm okay with that versus also you don't, maybe this is all in my head and maybe it's the placebo thing. I don't want to keep eating it. Where if I eat a piece of milk chocolate, I want more
Yes.
and more and more and more and more. But for some reason, like just a little square of this is like so good.
Well, that's what you want. You just want a little bit to be
Yeah.
satisfied.
And I really think it's the quality matters.
Yes,
Because there are some dark
absolutely.
chocolates that are terrible. And I'm like, who could eat dark chocolate?
Hmm.
And
I
I've
totally
judged
agree.
people who like dark chocolate many times.
I feel like they're better than me because they are fancier and bougier. I don't know.
I feel a little bougie when I have this. But anyway, I would recommend it to anybody to try it. So anyway, that's the thing I love this week. Get back to
That's
human.
great.
If they want to sponsor us, we'll be fine with that. We'll be sure to
Definitely.
tag them in this one. So,
Definitely.
all right.
So here's where I started with this. And I know we went in different directions, but we're going to come back and pull it all together. I know that.
Okay.
Um, so where I went with this is if you ask, then what? It's because in my mind, you've completed an action like a graduation, a retirement, or you finished school, or you got married, and then people are like, then what's next?
Mhm.
And sometimes we don't really have a plan of what's next. So you're kind of like floundering around and lost about where you're supposed to go because the goal was to get to that event. And a lot of people that we've talked to recently, they have retirement, for example, where you work your whole life to get to retirement.
And then what?
Then what? What do
Yeah,
you do
there.
next?
Yeah.
Do you have a plan? I don't know. You're supposed to relax, but can you? Because you worked your whole life.
Mhm.
So to me, it's these situations like you bought your groceries. Then what do you do?
Oh, so you went even small.
Yeah, I went to like the what's next? And you say, I'm going to be prepared for the week. I'm going to have get good food, but do you have recipes? Do you have meals to go? Are you going to prep? Are you going to cut everything up and package it? Like, do you have a plan then for
Do you
what's
think we
next?
should be asking ourselves this more often?
I do because if, people get really annoyed with me because I'm a planner. I like to know what's ahead. And people are like, just can you enjoy the moment? And that's a fair point. But also, planning ahead helps me to plan what I'm doing now. So for me,
Say
it's
that.
functional.
I gotta write that down. Planning ahead. Okay, go ahead. Helps me
Helps me to
prepare what you're
plan
doing
what's,
now.
yes. So for example, if I know we're going to be eating dinner at 6:30, 7 o'clock, I can plan my day of when I'm going to cook and when I have time and what my activities are that I can put all that into my day. So I know we can be ready to eat at that time.
Okay, at first when you said that quote, I was super trying to listen to you and trying to process the quote at the same time, and I was like, okay. I really wanted to say, okay, stop and let me process it, but dead air on a podcast does not sound good. So I was trying to do both, and now it makes sense to me. Because
For
now I
me,
think we all do it, actually. I think we
yeah.
all, no, I guess I shouldn't say we all, but I think if we really think about it, we do it. And when we do it, we feel like we're really in control.
That's the point, right? If you've achieved your goal, whichever goal that is, small or
Right.
big or life-changing, but then you don't know what's ahead, then how do you just fall back into these bad patterns. You got the groceries, you don't know what to do, so then those groceries are going to end up in the trash. You wasted this money and you didn't eat any of the good food. So
Hmm.
I feel like we need to ask some questions. I came up with a few questions.
Okay.
Um, what makes you happy?
Oh,
What are your
wait.
needs?
So you're saying that these questions are what we can ask ourselves when we do a then what?
Yes.
Okay.
What are your personal values? What gives
Mhm.
you purpose or passion?
Okay.
Um, what activities put you in a flow state? That means you can like smoothly go into the next thing. What would you do if there were no limits?
Mm.
And this one is kind of it made me raise my eyebrows, but who do you admire or get jealous of? Because then maybe there's something to strive
Oh,
towards.
that's a great question.
Mhm. So these are from betterup.com. And did you know that the average person makes 35,000 decisions all day?
I probably do believe that. I mean, I would have never
35,000.
ever guessed. I wish you would have had me guess. That would have been great.
Oh,
Um, I I would have probably guessed like 5,000. But
oh yeah.
I mean, think about it. I've made hundreds and hundreds of decisions today already.
It's no wonder that we're so exhausted. We're deciding things all the time. And then we don't really want to decide the things that maybe are bigger and more important. They're all
Right,
important, but you know what I mean? Like,
right.
what do we do next? I wanted to share a story real quick. I had this realization yesterday. So I was talking to my son about just us, we do a lot of deep philosophical conversations. And I was talking about how I've come into my true self. And I was thinking about this when I was a child and in college and probably even young adult life. I catered to a vision of what somebody else thought I was supposed to behave like. For example, I am a relatively quiet person. I'm introverted. I'm an observer. So I don't talk a lot, especially in a lot of big groups. But people find that very upsetting and disturbing. Like, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you talking? Why aren't you talking? So then I try to be something that I'm not. So then it causes me to act in a way that's not authentic to me. And when I do that, then I end up doing behaviors that don't feel good and that are not serving me for my greater purpose. And how I connected this is if we, let's just take weight loss, for example, okay? If we want to lose weight
Okay.
and we're like, somebody tells us, this is the way you're exactly supposed to do it. This is the road, take this road, but it doesn't feel good or organic to you. It doesn't feel easy and it doesn't feel natural. You're not going to do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is we need to recognize what the parts of us and how we operate and lean into that and not take it to a degree of, well, that person said I need to drink 5 smoothies a day, and that person said I should do a detox, and that person said, no, what works for you? What fits in your lifestyle and the choices you want to make?
Interesting. That is deep, though. You are right. You
Yes.
do get deep.
Yeah. So it was actually very important for me that I just need to be myself and operate the way that I do. And
Did,
especially when it comes to weight loss.
did your did your son say that you need to be yourself, or did he recognize that you aren't in some situations?
No, all three of them have said that I have become truer to myself.
Oh,
And I was thinking about why they observed that. And it's because I'm not really worried about doing something somebody else's way. I'm just doing it my way.
okay.
Does
Is
that
it
make
hard for
sense?
you?
No, it's easier. It's much easier to do it the way I like it.
Is it that you don't care what other people think anymore, or that has nothing to do with it?
I think that has less to do with it. It has more to do with what I like.
Okay.
So, for example, I ate pizza this morning for breakfast.
Good for you.
That's not a breakfast food, but who cares?
No, yes. You don't need a breakfast food, correct. I agree with that. Yeah.
Who cares?
Right.
It's filled me up. I'm going to be fine. I can eat maybe a smaller lunch. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm going with this? Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't, the rules kind of, but they don't matter really.
No, they don't. I agree with that. So
So,
what I found was interesting when you said that if you are doing something that isn't comfortable for you, you're not really going to do it.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
And it's funny because I think that sometimes we do try to do all these extreme things to lose weight,
yes,
and that's not gonna last. You know what I mean?
right.
I actually have a fun stat on that.
Oh, I can't
If
wait to
you want
hear.
to talk about it now, or if you want me to
Yes,
wait.
yes.
So I
No,
was on this
please.
website called the number 8fit.com, and they
Mm-hmm,
surveyed 800 women. That's a lot of women. First of all, I would
mm-hmm,
love to survey 800 women. But anyway, they surveyed 800 women, weight loss questions. And here's where what you said makes sense to me. 30% of them have gone through extreme measures to lose weight.
30%.
Yeah, I would actually think that's on the lower end, but I'm wondering what extreme. I don't think I've ever done an extreme measure to lose weight.
Mm-hmm,
Have you? I've done dumb
probably.
stuff, but I don't know
Yeah,
about
I've
extreme.
done dumb stuff. Yes, I've done dumb stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure I've done like really dumb, like I don't know. I'm just can't even think of anything right now, but I thought that was interesting, right? So out of these 800 women, 51% of them think they need to make huge sacrifices for something to change.
Weight wise.
Think about that. Yeah, weight wise.
Well, that sounds low to me also.
Yeah. 50, a huge sacrifice. I don't know. I don't know. 77% of these women said that losing weight will make them happy.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar. If I just lose this last so many pounds, I'll just
Right?
be happier. Yeah.
Right. Only 30%, only 36% of them say they have a healthy relationship with food. That's low
That's really low.
and kind of sad.
Yeah, but I think that's
It's
where
probably
our,
par for the course, right?
yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Okay, and here's my fun one. 48% said they would rather give up sex than give up carbs.
Well, yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, because I think it's interesting, like when you went to like, then what, then what, then what? We also have to think about what happens then what if you once you lose some weight.
Yes.
And even 20 pounds, even 10 pounds, even five. All right, so you lose 5 pounds, then what? Because we all are guilty of losing some weight and feeling
Hmm.
good. And we're like, oh, I look good, right? You're not where you
Yes.
want to be, but you feel good about it. It's almost like a step. You're on the next step. You know what I mean? You still have more steps to go, but we have
Yes.
to sometimes go, okay, so what happens when I lose 10? Then what? And then what
Hmm.
happens when I lose 15? Then what? And I think that's an important thing. And all of those questions you said at the beginning are important for this topic too, don't you think?
Well, also to be, if you've lost even 5 pounds, okay? Not
Okay.
even, but 5 pounds, to just be happy in that moment of losing 5 pounds, not to say, then what I'm gonna make and do
Oh,
next, and
that's a good point
create
too. Yeah.
anxiety, to just for a minute just be content with the 5 pounds
Hmm.
instead of anticipating.
Ew, that's good. That's good.
Those
Really good.
statistics are really interesting,
I know there
I
was a whole
think.
bunch more too, and I didn't write them all down because I was like, oh, I don't know which ones to pick. So I picked and choose a couple. But so what I really thought was interesting is like sometimes a lot of us are worried. We have a fear after we lose weight. Do you
Hmm.
think do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes.
Like, even if somebody loses 20 pounds and they still need to lose 20 more, there's a fear there. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
and I think it's a real legitimate. I'm at a fear point right now, and
Oh, you
I'm
are?
because I'm under a certain number, my hate number, I'll call it, and I am so afraid to go back to the hate number.
Hmm.
Like, it's a fear. It's a real
So
fear.
that's interesting because then that fear makes you do crazy things, which is what your I can't say that word,
Yeah.
statistic was saying, that people will do crazy things to lose weight. And when you get to a place of fear, then you're gonna
Then what?
and end up well, you're gonna self-sabotage, I think,
Right.
because you're so afraid.
Right. So I'm at this moment now where I'm like, okay, I'm at this number that's under my hate number. It's not where I want to be by any means. It's
Mm.
just under my hate number. And I'm like, okay, so now what? Now what do I do?
Hmm.
And I think that it's a really important question to ask myself now, or anybody should ask themselves, then what? Okay, so now what?
Hmm.
What's the plan? But what I thought was interesting, and it kind of gets a little scientific, so um it's interesting. CodeRedLifestyle.com. I found a really good article on how weight is intertwined with people's sense of security and self-confidence.
Yes.
Okay. So it's normal for us to have this fear because weight is intertwined with both of those things. So it's a normal
Right.
thing, which I think is great. Um, and here's the interesting part. Most of us have lost this weight and gained it back sometime or
Yes.
another.
Yes.
So our brain has quote unquote proof that we've done it.
Right.
So my brain has proof that I've been at this hate number before. So the back of my head is going, well, of course you have this fear because you've done it before. You're gonna gain it back, right?
Oh.
So
So
here's
that
the
that the fear is messing up your, really,
yeah,
your progress.
The fear is
Okay.
messing it up. It's messing it up.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of like, and there's a real word, it's called your brain has a part called reticular activating system. It's your brain focusing on things even if you're not telling it to. So for example, if I buy a new car and I have if let's say it's a blue car and I'm like, oh, this is such a pretty blue. I see that blue more often. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Or if I see a car, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really like that car. And then I see it more often. You,
Right.
do you have that ever experienced
Yes,
that?
of
Right?
course.
Your brain is doing the same thing. Your brain is actually saying like, okay, well, of course you're going to gain weight. Every time you see cake, you eat tons of cake, so you're going to gain your weight back. It's doing this to you and you don't even realize it.
Oh gosh, that sounds very depressing.
I know. It kind of is, but here's some good tips for it. First thing that you need to remind your brain over and over and over again is if there is even one other person on the entire planet that has lost weight and kept it off, then you can too.
Okay, so
I
you can
like that.
retrain your brain. Is that what you're
You
saying?
are basically retraining your brain, you're redirecting the focus. You're saying, okay, every time I see cake, I always eat it and then I'm going to gain. Now I'm going to gain all my weight back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nope, there's somebody in the world that has lost weight and kept it off, and I can do it too.
So if you, what do you think is the difference between a person who successfully loses the weight and keeps it off versus the person who loses the weight and gains it back?
I honestly, after reading and looking into this a lot, I think it's their belief that they can keep it off. They believe in themselves.
Okay.
They're
So
like,
you
yeah,
don't
I
think
can
it
have cake
involves,
and I can go ahead. What were you gonna
no,
say?
I was just going to ask you, do you think it doesn't really involve a lot of sacrifice, or does it involve a lifestyle change?
Well, that's the thing. Don't you think like if you're doing this without drastic measures and you're doing it
Hmm.
the way that you want to do it, not where you're trying to be somebody that you're not, by still
Right.
having pizza for breakfast, then you're going to be okay with doing the things you need to do to keep it off, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But if I'm staying under my hate number by not eating pizza and not eating carbs and not eating refined sugar and not eating ice cream and not doing all this, then of course I'm going to be afraid because I, I gave up all that stuff.
Right.
But I'm legitimately under that number still enjoying food I like,
I think that's the key. Because if you
right?
put things on a no-no list, then all you can do is think about that no-no list.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, well, that's the other thing is I think a lot of it is we have to be realistic about looking at it and going, okay, so, all right, so I'm afraid. I'm afraid that
Hmm.
I'm going to gain it back because there's proof there in my life. If
Hmm.
I was going to have my life flash before my eyes, there's proof that I've gained it back. But I really need to step back and say, but I can maintain what I'm doing right now because I
Yes,
haven't given up anything.
absolutely.
Right? I think I'm making.
Absolutely. Yes,
So
absolutely.
the then what right now is like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to do and have a little bit here and whatever I want at this party. I don't need it every day. I'm not going to take the cake home and eat it at home, but really just looking at it as like, I can do this. That belief is super important.
Okay, let me ask you another hypothetical,
Yes.
okay? If you are doing really well and
Hmm.
then you have a hiccup in life for whatever reason, you're gone away for the weekend, you're on vacation, life stuff happens to you, and you're totally off track.
Hmm.
And then you gain the weight back and your brain's like, see, told you
Told
so.
you so.
How do you then get to the original track?
Well, I think part of it is we have to be like, yeah, but there's also proof that I've lost it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If there's proof that you've gained it, then there's also proof that you've lost it. So when
Yes. Oh
anytime
my
anybody comes
gosh.
back to us and says, "I've lost 40 pounds, but I put it back on." Well, guess what? The great part is you've lost 40 pounds, you know how to do it,
What a wonderful way to reframe this.
right?
I
We
love
shouldn't
that
be
so much.
sad that
Yes.
we've gained any of our weight back. We should be like, "Damn it, I know I can do it. I've done it."
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, right? Okay.
Yes.
Here are some things that there's three things that are really coming to me about more like the mindset part. Like, okay, so
Hmm.
let's say you've lost 10 pounds right now. You still want to lose 10 more, but you've lost 10. The
Okay.
number one, I thought this was funny. This was the number one thing everybody should do women wise when they're losing weight. Keep an old bra.
Why?
Don't keep old clothes, but keep an old bra. And the reason they said for this is because you need a physical comparison and a good reality check.
But why not like a t-shirt? Why a bra?
I think it's more intimate. And a t-shirt
Okay.
isn't gonna show
Okay, got
a
it, got
t-shirt's
it.
gonna hide it. If I put on a big t-shirt, I'm not seeing in the mirror the weight loss. I'm just seeing how
Mhm.
big the shirt is. But we've all wear shirts that are big. Like this shirt isn't skin tight on me. This wouldn't be a
Sure.
good example to show weight loss, the t-shirt I'm wearing. But a bra is where they're saying is the best way as that comparison. Because you're putting it on, you're most likely halfway naked anyway. You're looking at it, you're holding it different. You can see the cups that are bigger. That was I thought was really interesting.
That
Keeping
is interesting.
it's kind of like or keeping a belt for men. I know a lot
Hmm.
of men who keep their first belt because they can really see the notches and how
Sure. Of
but for
course.
a woman, I think that's kind of cool to keep a bra,
Very fascinating.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, second one
definitely.
is we need to learn to trust ourselves. If you're still continuing your healthy lifestyle, then you have nothing to worry about. Keep reminding
Okay,
yourself of
yeah.
the unhealthy habits that you did have.
So this is
Unhealthy.
connected to the question that I asked you.
Mhm.
So you just have to remind yourself, look, it was a weekend, it was a moment, life happens. I can just get back to it.
Yes.
I know what to do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Remind yourself. Oh, I like that
But
one.
I also like where it says, remind yourself of your unhealthy habits. So
For
I'm gonna
what
give you an
purpose?
example. So I could be like, yeah, well, guess what? I used to only get 5,000 steps and now I'm getting 12.
Hmm.
My
Yeah.
unhealthy habit was I'm not moving. Or, okay, so yeah, I'm having this dark chocolate, a square of it. Well, I used to have a whole half a bag of M&Ms. So
Okay, so
reminding, yeah,
you're saying it using it as a measure of progress.
yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
I used to eat a whole bag of Lay's potato chips, but now I'm eating a bowl of kettle chips that are better quality.
Hmm.
Like, using that as, like, this is how I'm gonna trust myself because I've already changed and made these different habits. My brain
That
is
makes
gonna wanna
sense.
say, "Okay, so you're eating this chocolate, you're gonna fall back into old habits." Yeah, well, guess what? My habit is different now. It's better quality chocolate, and it's dark chocolate, and I'm not eating a whole candy bar, I'm eating a piece of it.
Mm.
But my brain is going, "Up, here you go again, eating your chocolate on the couch tonight. You know you're gonna gain weight." No, reminding myself that this is a better habit. Does that make sense?
Okay. Deactivating the reticular activation system.
Ooh, look at you get yes, yes. All right, finally, and this is an important one. If you start getting too obsessive and too worried about it, then you just need to seek help
Okay.
and not be
That
afraid of
makes sense.
and really not be afraid of it. And I think that that's important is like, don't be afraid to even reach out to you or I and say, I'm worried about myself. I mean, we're not qualified to help you, but we would be a sounding board to say, yeah, I think you're right. I think you do maybe need to talk to somebody because I don't think anybody should be letting weight and the fear of gaining weight back rule our life.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, you and I can help anybody as much as we can say, okay, I think you're getting too crazy on it, or let's step back and really think about things a little bit different. But in the reality is, don't be afraid to talk to someone too.
Well, I think the key takeaway is we all want to strive for healthy and happy physical bodies.
Mhm.
But if that becomes the obsession and not just a method to having a happier life, then maybe you need some help. Like if you can't engage in conversations and you can only think about the food or the what are you going to do and what are you going to do next and what punishment or like of all, we've all done that. But if that becomes the sole focus, then we need something else. We need some help.
Yeah. And also, this goes for any of the then what's. If you're sad after, if your next is like, then what? Then what do I do after I quit my job? Or what do I do after my kid graduates? Or then what? If we're sad and we can't seem to grasp it after that, it is something we should just be talking to somebody,
Absolutely. That's a very good point.
you know, and not be, and take the shame out of it.
Yes.
So this was an
I,
interesting.
I yeah, I think just to sort of bring it full circle for me is we can ask ourselves the then what's, because we're always like planning ahead and looking forward to the future, but we also can just be proud of how far we've come and what we've done, and we can just celebrate that moment and not look so far down the road that we can't even appreciate where we are.
Mhm.
I just think that's very important. Oh, I did read this thing, as a place to sort of wrap this up, is tap into the wisdom of your heart.
Tap into the wisdom of your heart.
That's from betterup.com.
I will
I
say
think
sometimes I think my heart is smarter than my brain. So I like
yes,
that. Yeah. Yeah,
I
my
think so too.
okay. I like that. That's from what.com?
I think it's from betterup.com.
Okay.
It might have been another website that I didn't write down, but
Okay. So do you have a call to action for the week?
well, I sort of have one and a half.
Okay. That's an
Does that
interesting.
count?
Yes.
I still want to do the small meals. I think that's going to be really important for me.
Okay.
Um, but this weekend I hurt myself 2 times.
Oh my gosh.
I fell up the stairs in the subway, and
In New York
ja-
City.
I jammed my knee into the
We're not,
step.
wait, back up. We're not just talking about fall up the stairs in your house. Like we're talking about
No,
in New York City.
yes, on cement, not
Oh,
on carpet.
did you get hurt, by the way?
I was a little hurt, but no broken skin and no bruising or
Okay.
anything. It was just like a little banged up.
Okay.
And then yesterday I cut my thumb,
Mm.
um and it was pretty bad. So the lesson for me, which is sort of the half, is I need to slow down a little bit and pay attention to what I'm doing and not be in such a rush all the time, because I'm always late. So I'm always in a rush, and that causes a lot of problems for me.
But we know
So
why you're always late. It's just who you are, right? We've discovered that it's just what you've always been. It's just you maybe need to just embrace it and stop
I
fighting.
do, but I also need to slow down. I
Yes.
think these injuries have taught me that I just need to take a minute, take a beat. There's no rush. It's fine. And if I'm late, I'm late.
It's a good reminder to a lot of people.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so my call to action is just going to be super, I mean, not easy, but kind of little bit. I've been organizing and cleaning my kids' bedrooms. So the catch-all has been in my room until I figure out what to do with it all. So I
Hmm.
think you know how important sleep is to me, and I truly believe a clutter-free room is important to get
Yes.
sleep. So I need to start the process of organizing that and making that happy place for me. Since I'm doing it for my children, I need to do it for me too.
Ooh. Are you
Yeah.
going to change anything in your room or just keep it clean or declutter?
Um, I am gonna change. I can tell you this because I'm pretty sure my husband is. He comes back Tuesday in this episode, even if by chance he listens. So he, in his before marriage life, was a musician, and he
Hmm.
has
Oh,
equipment like amps, like I mean, like huge, expensive amps, like electric guitars,
okay.
like 4 or 5 of them. And one of the amps has been in my bedroom just sitting out, and I see it and I hate it so much.
Oh.
So as soon as he left at 4 o'clock this morning, I took that amp and I put it in his closet, took all of his clothes out, shoved it in his closet, put all his clothes back on his side. So I'm not even gonna tell him. It's just, I mean, I think he might notice his clothes are all covering it, so you can't really see it. But I was just, so yes, I am gonna change some things in my room.
Okay, I
Like to
like it.
see that. He might like to see the amp. I don't.
Well, he probably doesn't see it anymore.
I do every day. So
But I'm saying, like, he probably won't even notice that it's gone.
yeah. So, or if anybody would like to buy one, I have two.
I
That's
like the way
like
you waited until he wasn't there, though.
at like 5 a.m. He left at like 4:30, 5 a.m. I was moving this amp across the house to the other part into another closet and yeah.
I love it. I can't wait to hear all about it.
Well, you know what inspired me is we have a member in our call to action who moved her husband's coats and he
Yes.
hasn't noticed. So we're gonna see how long this goes for.
Yes, absolutely. That's so fun.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, have a good week. Hope your thumb
You
is
too.
okay.
Thank you. I will see you next
All
week.
right. Bye.
Bye.